Welcome to the highlight show for Group 1 from the second stage of Ultimate Pool The Masters. Shane Thompson, Jack Whelan, John Rowe and Nathan Ellis is your lineup for tonight's group. Shane Thompson will take on Jack Whelan in our first match. John Rowe will take on Nathan Ellis in our second match. Let's get straight into our first match then. And the two top players traded blows through the first 8 frames. And we join Jack Whelan breaking off at 4-4.
Bang, dead straight again. This time does get rewarded.
Oh, where's that 8 ball?
It's not in.
Oh, has he got a red? Because yellows are a little bit out of commission with where that yellow has ended up with the 8 ball. Here he has, top of the table. But this is a little bit tricky. Because you have to go reds, but even then there's a couple of really awkward ones.
Yeah, they all have a home. He doesn't have to play any cannons or nudges. It's just a matter of keeping hold of that cue ball, and that might not look like much, but that was a good shot. He played that with right-hand side to kill the pace. He checked it off the rail to land on what is his most awkward ball, because this red on the left side of the table does pass the 8 ball, and he will leave it until his penultimate ball to land straight on it, and then just drop, drop. Well, he might have to take it now because he's come too far. He wanted to play the red on the right, take the one away near the top right corner. Wanted to be in this position with no other reds left other than the one that is closest to the cue ball. That was the original plan. It's still fine, but you have to make sure you get the right angle on this ball now.
Yeah, there can't be any mistakes from here. No more insurance policies left.
May have come a fraction too straight, which means he now may have to play this with a little bit of left-hand side and spin the cue ball in the gap of the 2 yellows. So not the gap of the 2. If you just watch the spin on the cue ball here, just get it to the top cushion. There, see, pick up pace with left-hand side. He's very good at those shots. And all the time when you're playing with those little traces, it does affect the line that the cue ball goes into the object ball, so you do aim fractionally different depending on how hard you're hitting it and how much side you're putting on.
Oh, he didn't want to hit that yellow.
Oh, he's been a lucky boy.
He has. He really has. This is for the lead back. Oh, he knows it as well. Puff of the cheeks. Oh, Shane was already gone.
Well, how does it not go in?
Shane already had half his backside on his chair there, didn't he? He'd already turned away.
Well, the only reason it doesn't go in is because it had some side spin on it. So when it hits the first knuckle, it then hits the second knuckle and then checks.
That's amazing. And look at the leave as well.
As you said, he was already back in his chair having a sip of his drink. He thought that was in. And if he can flick this yellow in, so he's going to cut the yellow in, the cue ball is going to cannon into the red. He won't be sure exactly where it's going to go. Doesn't want that go in front of the 8 ball.
Ooh, it has.
Well, unbelievably, it's blocked the 8 ball into both pockets.
Yeah, that's just about the worst possible place for that red.
Oh, you could play that shot another 20 times and not yet the red not go there. But you have to put it into perspective. He is happy to be at the table. He's got a couple of really nice balls that he can either break into the eight ball from or drop on it.
Yeah, I just wonder if he's I think if he's feeling really confident, he just plays him behind it and goes right middle, doesn't he?
Yeah, it goes right middle. It also goes top left corner. Important that he gets an angle on this ball down the rail now. Straight is definitely no good. So he purposely left a big angle. He needs the cue ball back in the gap that it's in now. And these shots are a bit more difficult than they look. It's easy to overdo this, especially on this table, and end up back up where his hand is. Yeah, the left one goes. So, as good a potter as Shane is, I'm with you. The right shot here is pot it, screw back, and then drop into the back cushion and back your ability and potting skills to drop the 8-ball into the centre. Can play my shot into the top left if he feels as though it's a little bit too acute into the right centre. The only problem with playing it into the right centre, of course, is that you can only really drop it in, and when you're dropping it in, it's not really a solid hit. And of course you're relying on the table to run absolutely dead straight, and I'm absolutely amazed he's tried to go into that. Shane, you've definitely just played the wrong shot.
I think it goes back to what we said a few moments ago. I think a confident Shane just takes his medicine there and backs himself, but wanted to be nicer. He's had to play an incredible shot here.
Oh, he's playing the double. Keep the eye on the top left.
He's gone for the middle. It's close. But it just comes off that near jaw. That could be a huge swing moment in this match.
No, you have to drop this in and play on the 8-ball. He looked at it, and I think all the way through that finish, that was his plan. And I'm pretty sure at the last minute, while he was down on the shot, I think he's changed his mind.
Well, you could see before he played the yellow that he was lining the 8-ball up into the right middle pocket, and I just almost think he's talked himself out the shot and just thought, I don't like it, I've got to go into it.
Yeah, I think he was going to play it, and then when he was down on the shot, I think his brains thought, I've got a perfect angle to top off the cushion and just cannon the red here. Is there a line just missing the red to pot this?
Oh, there is.
Is there a line?
Wow. Shane Thompson gets out of dodge with an absolute beauty.
He just wanted one for social media. Check out this, left-hand side, widens the angle off the left cushion. Fantastic shot.
A reverse clearance in the next puts Shane Thompson in front, and he has the break in frame 12.
Shane looped the backswing there. Yeah, Shane looped on the backswing, popped into it a little bit.
Well, that...
Watch the cue. Hard to tell from that angle, but he drops the cue on the backswing, which means he popped into it, and he definitely hit that one harder.
Yeah, better cue ball in terms of line, but that one's dry. And a wry smile from Shane, but I think if he's completely honest with himself, he's got away with a couple already in this match, and sometimes it does just even out a little bit.
Yeah, and you probably have to say on reflection of what has happened that 6 each, which probably will be in a couple of minutes, is probably fair. Okay, you could argue that he shouldn't be potting that 8-ball out the snooker, but Shane did also miss a once-in-a-lifetime 8-ball at 1 each. So on reflection, I think both players will probably say, okay, this could have been a lot worse for me. It's 6 each, and we'll effectively now play a best-of-3 for the win. Because that's what it'll be if Jack can clear these remaining few yellows. Has to leave an angle on this third to last ball. That's the only thing left that can go wrong. Either high or low, whichever way you prefer to play the shot is fine. Prefers to leave it high. I personally like to leave them low. Feel as though I've got more control. Has a little bit of a wince there because he has got an angle, but not enough. Where I think if you played low on it, you guarantee the angle. See how he had to bang it, and with playing it as such a almost like a power stun run through, has left it a fraction straight because he doesn't want to be straight on the yellow across the back rail. So just needs to be a little bit careful here. Ooh, has he got some angle? Yeah, just enough to punch out. Again, one of them scenarios where you don't want to cheat the pocket too much. Took his medicine, screwed back and played on it in the right centre. Perfect camera angle. You'll know if it's him really before him. And it's not.
Oh, wow. Wow. That could be a huge moment. Jack's not even back in his chair yet.
Yeah, and I just come back to the angle on that third to last yellow that he left. And then he ended up with a cue ball flat on the side cushion as a result of leaving himself a little bit too straight. And that is normally what happens at 8 ball. When you play one bad positional shot, it snowballs and snowballs. That's why the majority of players break down towards the end of a rack. So 5th ball, 6th ball, 7th ball, because you run out of position, you then have another 4 or 5 options. You run out of position again, you have another 2 or 3 options. Once you get down to your last ball, you have no options. So when you start losing the cue ball, that is what generally happens. One shot compounds and the next one becomes a little bit harder and a little bit harder before you miss. I'm not saying Jack should have ever missed that 8 ball, because of course he shouldn't, but when you do play a little bit of a slack positional shot, it does mean that you have to play shots that you shouldn't be having to play, and a finish as easy as that was when he started.
Well, all things pointing towards Shane Thompson.
So he was mindful that he didn't want enough pace to be in the cue ball, and definitely added some power into that.
I was going to say, there was the power that you were that you were mentioning. Little bit of spice put into that break, I would suggest.
I think that was the anger of the 8 ball in the last rack. But just look at these reds.
Well, these have to go. Jack knows that he's no longer in control of whether or not he goes through. Shane has the next break, and in theory can play Jack out the match, but yellow's the decision for Jack Whelan.
Yeah, and I would have gone reds, but he's actually played that first shot absolutely perfectly to screw back into the red.
Yeah, yellows look good now.
Yeah, yellows look good now after that shot. Still a little bit fiddly though, has to mind his work, just wants to make sure that there's no cannons or cue ball hitting balls that you don't want it to hit. Trace of right hand side to just spin the cue ball towards the line of the last yellow here. Just watch the right hand side, see, just takes off that side cushion.
This for 7-6.
Yeah, and I think what you mean by it's not in his control is that, of course, it's now Shane Thompson's break. Lost the cue ball to the corner again.
He did, but he's fine.
Yeah, instantly comes to check if he can see the red that's over this right corner. And he can. And just look at these reds.
Well, yeah, that makes such a difference, because once you get the top half of the table figured out, the bottom is all there.
There is a match clock, but that's not going to come into play, even if this match was to go to 7 each, which it's probably not going to. Eight ball doesn't go to bottom left, so has to make sure he gets the right angle on this last ball. Only last thing that could go wrong, and has gone wrong, sort of.
Yeah.
You see the 8 ball doesn't go to this left corner, which means he now has got to play a top spin and take the 8 ball at distance. Well, I say at distance, mid-distance.
Well, it all comes down to this. For a spot in the group final, Shane Thompson. Crunches home the 8 ball. The safe cracker has done it. Jack Whelan flies on out of there. He'll be so unhappy with how that match ended. But Shane Thompson is through.
On to our second match to see who Shane Thompson will play in tonight's group final. John Rowe, the former world champion, is taking on Nathan Ellis. And just like our first match, the pair traded blows through the first 8 frames. We joined John Rowe with a break in frame 9.
Oh, that is as bad a break as you'll ever see John hit.
Well, that was almost a mirror image of the other one, wasn't it? Where it slam dunked into the right centre. This almost slam dunks into the left.
Yeah, struggle to see a worse break from John than that. What a chance this is for Nathan Ellis. I mean, these are like a routine almost. Oh, don't miss though. Well, that's a huge, huge miss for Nathan. Those yellows are absolute gimmies, and they have to be at this level.
Yeah, and has he left an angle that he can screw back and develop his 2 bad reds? He has.
Oh, that's such an awful result for Nathan Ellis.
Bottom end of the table's a little bit fiddly though, because the 2 reds that are down here, I don't think the top one passes the other one, so you have to land on the bottom one first. And he's left too much angle. A little shake of the head, which means he's going to have to come down the table now, so cue ball will be doing some mileage. I was able to hold it, but as I said, a little bit fiddly because one red doesn't pass the other. It passes to the right corner, but it's all about the angle that he leaves on this third to last red into the middle. Oh, do not miss the pot. You have to come twice across.
Yeah, he's tried to pot that as thick as possible. Looks an awful miss, because he's missed it by a long way, but he's trying to pot that off the near jaw.
Yeah, and he could have just potted it and let the cue ball come 1 cushion, 2 cushion, and back out into the middle of the table.
Wonder if we'll look back at this frame in, what, half an hour's time when it's all said and done.
He's got to go on and off the top cushion now, and he needs some right-hand side. Gets the right-hand side. See, it just straightens the cue ball up and off. Again, you don't need to be too clever, just soft screw off the left side cushion, take the 8 ball into the left center. On it, decent. It's not perfect, it's thin. Cue ball's fine.
Nails the pot. Nathan's back, sticking with the cut break. Sticking with a very soft cut break, and he's even gone in off. Need to see this one again.
He's potting balls into the bolt pockets with it as well.
Yeah, it made me second guess myself that he'd even cut break. That's pretty crazy. I mean, he's really unlucky to going off, but...
Yeah, but it's getting serious now for John, isn't it? He's 5-4 down, and you've got to make sure now that it's no more mistakes. Plays a cannon and couldn't have really gone much worse, I don't think.
Yeah, that's not come out nicely at all. Yellows look tied up. Yellow in the 8 ball, not nice. He's played one shot on yellows, and all of a sudden, if he came to the table now, you'd be desperate to be reds.
Can he wedge him behind the black here? Can he just pop him on the back of it? He can. Good shot. Not only is that a fantastic shot and a snooker, but he's developed the yellow that, okay, it was blocking the 8 ball, but it was also blocking him because he couldn't clear up while it was there.
Good hit.
Yeah, good shot.
I think John might have an attacking option. Whether he takes it on is another thing, though. He's got the yellow to the bottom left. Might be all he has. Doesn't love it. No attempt to pot that. Oh, I say that.
No,
it's gone in.
Wasn't an attempt, but it has gone in and it's left him, well, completely dead, really. He does have a shot, but it's not easy. So the shot is the two yellows that are together. You could screw off them and pot the yellow that's over the pocket. That develops your bad one, or your 2 bad ones, and leaves you on the other one. But was it a foul?
Oh, he's called it. Yeah, I think he was cushioned first. You think this is close, don't you?
Yeah, and let's just have another look. Couldn't quite see it, but I feel as though you can tell if that was a foul or not by the reaction of the balls. Simultaneous hit, which can happen, so cushion and ball at the same time, would go in the favour of the player, so it wouldn't be a foul. I'm not saying that was simultaneous, I'm just saying if it was that close. Get another look at this. Watch the reaction of the cue ball. I think that was as close to a simultaneous hit as, you see, if it hits cushion first, I think the cue ball stops dead. If it hits the ball or simultaneous, it comes away with the object ball like it did. You can tell exactly what happens by, like I say, the reaction of the cue ball and the object ball. If it would have hit side cushion, top cushion, I think the cue ball would stick on the top cushion.
Oh, no protest from John Rowe, and Nathan Ellis straight to work. He actually played a lovely development shot on his first red, got a cue ball in hand, got behind his dead red on the bottom right, bumped the 8 ball out for good measure, and now he's 2 good shots away. We'll call it 3 good shots away from being 2 frames in front and 2 frames from home.
Half a roll short. He's left-handed, which means it's a little bit of a stretch.
Oh, just. 6-4.
John Rowe won a tactical 11th frame to cut the gap down to just 1. Nathan now breaking off in frame 12.
He talks a lot to himself in his chair. He's his own corner man in that sense. Nathan's back on the front break. And I, for one, can't believe he ever went away from it.
Oh, and he has a chance. He has a chance on the reds.
Super break, makes a ball. In business. 2 frames from home.
Yeah, would put him 2 up with 3 to play, and with the match clock in play, that would be a really strong position to be in. Left the window to the one that's over the pocket. Just bumped the cue ball into the other one. Oh, he hit the wrong ball.
He hit the yellow first. Foul.
Oh, what a turning point that could be.
He knows.
Watch this, he actually snicks the yellow on the way through.
Oh, that's a bad shot.
Oh, he hit it quarter board, didn't he? Never mind.
John has to wait. Yellows are not nice, particularly.
Off the jaws. Look good when they go right, but...
Yeah, that's a good example of what can happen when you play. They are so much harder than some players make them look. And John can go cue ball in hand and knock his difficult yellow in.
And push 3 reds into a non-potable position. But at the minute, things just keep landing a little bit awkward for John.
Yeah, he's a big man, which helps with a shot like that.
Once again, a little bit awkward.
More than a little bit, maybe, here. Wobbles in, and now you feel like he's just about there. Good shot.
Once again, a fraction awkward in between the two. Be careful these don't pop out. If he's punching this in. Cheated the pocket. Thought he was going to screw off the side cushion. Play a little cannon into the red.
Yeah, nicely played. Oh, strap in for this final minutes. 5 minutes to play. And it is 6-6. John's just moved his cue ball spot where he puts it for the break. I wonder if that can be significant. It's his best hit in a little while.
Yellows. And that was a puff of the cheeks. That was a sigh because he hit the break better in terms of, well, making a ball and controlling the cue ball. These yellows will come out nice. Doesn't need to go into the one next to the 8 ball. It passes into the left corner. And probably the left centre.
Well, at this stage in the match, all you want to be is leading. It's never ever nice being behind as that match clock is ticking down. You're playing on a 15-second shot clock. You never feel in control. You feel like you're always up against it when you're behind at this stage. John has been that. Now he's got the chance to go ahead and just flip that weight of expectation and the pressure onto his opponent.
Can he stun across and play on his bad one now? Yes, he can. Fraction higher than he wanted, but he'll take it.
Oh, lovely.
Give yourself a shot. Don't need to be coming 2 rails, 3 rails across the table twice. Just drop it in. Just drop it in, John. You've done it again. That's twice.
Yeah, just tried to be a little bit too clever.
He has a cross double, but the cue ball's flying.
Has an extension to line it up.
Left centre for the 8 ball. And it's high.
Where's he left the cue ball? Flush on these reds. What an opportunity now for Nathan Ellis. Any other stage in the match, I think you can be hypercritical there. Or just be critical, rather. And that's the wrong choice of shot and all the rest of it. When you're on 15 seconds, it's just look-see-do, isn't it? You just play what you see. I can't help but think John's overcomplicated there. He's played the wrong shot. And now Nathan just has to hold himself together.
Ugh, that's what you call in the middle of all 3. Ooh, that stopped and dropped. And as we said, when you play one bad positional shot, the next one becomes a little bit more tricky. And
how do you like these? 140 left.
ooh,
Missed it by a mile. What's he left on the 8 ball? He's left the pot.
well, he's left a pot, but John can top forward, and it's almost a free go, isn't it?
124 and ticking. John Rowe nails the pot and leads heading into the final minute.
No chance for clearance in the next frame, so Nathan Ellis bows out after a good run in the competition. And John Rowe moves on to the group final, where he'll take on Shane Thompson, which is where we head now. And it was John that made a fast start, winning the opening 3 frames, but Shane responded by winning the next 3 and has the break in frame 7.
I think as well, he's been a busy bee in the last few weeks. Had the European Championships with England over in Malta, then was barely home before being whisked away to Yarmouth for the the counties, was it, or Interleague, one of the two?
Yeah, I think it's
Last
moved
weekend.
venues now. I think it might be Lowestoft or somewhere that way, but yeah, I think he's played a lot of team pool over the last few weeks, which...
Yeah, so he got back at 10 o'clock on Sunday night and then was back up again for a long trip up to Newcastle-under-Lyme for the Champions League on Monday.
Yeah, and obviously one frame pool is so different. And you're playing in a team event where you're not only playing for yourself, the whole mindset and the whole thing is so different to playing a singles tournament over a bit of a bigger race.
John misses. That's a big miss. Yeah, sorry to jump in there, Gaz. That was a surprising miss from John. Just flicked the yellow. Didn't have as much room as he wanted. The only thing that works slightly in his favour is the reds are tricky here. There's the ones in the bottom of the table. One of them doesn't go anywhere, which is the red that's closest to the 8 ball. I think the other 2 have a pocket, whether left or right. But this is another fiddly one, isn't it?
Yeah, a couple of options. You can land with an angle on the one in the middle to just top into it, and the one you're talking about that doesn't go anywhere, or the red that's on the line there, the one that's furthest left, he could play that in off the 8 ball, But of course that would require a very good positional shot to get there. And that's not... Or is it? Yeah, he may have landed with the angle, so he wants to... The line that he's pointing at there means that he wants to cannon the red half ball, which will push it on and off the cushion. The cue ball will come down to the bottom rail and leave him on the one end to the left middle. Exactly like that.
Oh, that's brutal.
Oh, you're kidding me.
That is brutal.
Oh, well, that's absolutely cursed, really.
Couldn't play that if he tried. That's really, really tough.
He played it exactly like that. He just obviously didn't foresee that that red was going to come off the cushion and sit in front of the cue ball like that. Shane being the sort of finesse player and little touch shots and the little intricate shots that he plays. He doesn't crash into balls, he plays the cannons.
Oh, hold on to your hats. Oh, it's a great effort with the old Massey, but that was really, really tough. Oh, another big frame. Both players to the table again. Should mention for posterity, stop people ringing in, EPA County Finals last weekend. Shane was representing Bristol. Got to the final against Kent. Kent were the winners. Big up Dave Fernandez and Adam Basu, two Ultimate Pool players in that team.
Twice he's landed on the side cushion trying to get on this ball. This time he only had to drop it in and automatically be on the 8 ball. But as I said before, you play for that side rail, but you don't play to be dead on it. But either way,
yeah, he'll take it.
And it goes, and yeah, 4-3, completely square.
He's gradually moving east to west as well. Cue ball slowly worked himself, or itself rather, further and further left on the baulk line. There's another nice leave though. That's a really good hit. I think this is an okay split on both colour sets, you know.
The 8 ball does pass into the right corner. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been going reds. So this is a lovely split.
Yeah, the 8 ball was the big one. Did have a shot on yellows if need be, but...
And I always think when you open up a 2-frame gap in a match, so like this, for example, is race to 8, and providing that he takes these out, which I'm pretty sure he will, when you open up that 2-frame gap, I always think that your opponent's then got to win 3 frames for him to be ahead of you. And when you start talking about getting toward the later stages of the match, when the match clock can come into play, that's a big difference. 3 frames.
I think it may well do in this match as well. Talked about how the match clock hasn't really been a factor so far tonight. I have a sneaking suspicion that may change in this match. Still quite a way to go, and the match clock is ticking. Not perfect here, John.
I thought he may have just ran that through a couple of inches and played the red into the top right corner. And then...
I think he's off angle both ways.
Yeah, he's a Bit of a strange positional shot, that one. And as you can see, it stopped him in his tracks, but...
Just wonder if he can... Is he going to die this into the bottom left? And
I mean, if he runs that cue ball through 2 inches, it's just dot to dot, and now he's got a few shots to play. So that was the first shot he's got to play, and he's now got to play another one because the cue ball has got to go in and out of bulk. Playing it with left-hand side. And hasn't got enough on it. Oh, no, he hasn't.
you were saying?
He hasn't got enough because he's landed below the 8 ball. And I'm not sure that clips back. If it does, it's stupidly thin. Does it double into left centre?
No.
Well, that's what he tried, but he snicked the yellow on the way through. It's not a foul. It's loss of turn.
That's a big moment.
Yeah, that is a big moment.
Oh.
Yeah, might look like a bad shot, that, but it's actually quite clever. Played it as a shot to nothing. Was concerned that if he hits it harder, the cue ball would pop out. So played it as a two-way shot, but aired more on the side of the cue ball.
John's looking to see if he can get it tracking towards this bottom right corner pocket.
We're giving it a good old crack, whichever way he plays it. And he has.
Oh,
Oh my God.
bang! What a shot from John Rowe.
I did say a good old
what a
crack.
belter.
What a shot. He plays it into this pocket. He comes around to check if it goes.
What an absolute cracker from the ringer.
The pair traded break clearances over the next 4 frames, allowing John Rowe to maintain his 2-frame advantage. He's now 7-5 in front. Shane Thompson has the break.
Cool, what a time for the break to arrive, Shano. What a time for the break to arrive. He will be thinking, where have you been?
Yeah, that waiting for a bus, isn't it?
That is a belter. And he has to hurry. Doesn't have to play silly quick here. Has to be aware of that. No need to rush.
Oh, I think he might be taking the wrong ball here. He was on the one. He was on the one to the right corner. You see, there's a very small window for him to land in, and he's now got to find it again when he was already in it. He's found it, but he's got a little bit more angle, so he may have to spin this with some right-hand side.
Oh, what a good shot. It just reached. Oh.
Yeah, you see, I liked playing that shot when he was on it last time.
He's just short. So he's going for the bank shot. It's do or die for Shane Thompson. And it's going to be the latter. Has he left John Rowe much? I think he can play this to the middle, but it's tough.
I think from the overhead it looks like it goes, but I'm not sure it does. And he does have the luxury of the extension. Maybe it does, and maybe he can play the cue ball in such a way where he gets it to safety.
I think that went relatively comfy in the end. Well, this is it. John home straight for a spot in the final 8. And it looks like it is going to be a case of deja vu for the ringer. He's not played a great shot there, though. A little bit not perfect on all of his reds here.
No, but he hasn't got time to dwell on these. He has to get down and play it. We're now at 15 seconds.
That's a good recovery.
That's a perfect recovery because he can now screw across to the side cushion and take his ball.
Yeah, Shane knows as well. That grab of the cue is not because he feels like he's coming back, it's because he feels like he's going home.
Yeah, and this has been a very good performance from John. Okay, I know Shane's made a couple of mistakes, but he's capitalised on all of them, and I have to say, a deserved winner.
John Rowe into the last 8. A super performance from the ringer, knocking out Shane Thompson. And it's deja vu for John, just as he did in his first group stage. He scratches through the first and powers through the second. Super performance from him.
John Rowe's the first player to book his place in the quarter-finals of the Masters. This whole night is available to watch on Ultimate Pool TV, or if you're looking forward to next week, then this is the lineup we have for you. Brian Cumming, Jake Dylan Newlove, Carl Morris and Ben Rowland. It's 3 Giant Slayers and a former world champion for second stage Group 2 of Ultimate Pool, the Masters.